It's 10 a.m. You're watching Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's start with the top stories this morning. A final decision on who will be Kerala's new Chief Minister likely today. Two contenders are V.S. Achuthanandan and Pinarayi Vijayan. Umman Chandi to submit his resignation today. Jayalalitha calls legislature party meet to set stage for her taking charge as Chief Minister once again. Assam Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi to quit after dismal Congress showing. Interpol issues red corner notice against Pakistan-based handler of Jaish terrorist in Pathankot attack. Indian Army rejects Pakistan's allegation of insider role in the attack. Cyclonic storm Roanu leaves destruction behind in Nellore in Andhra Pradesh. Heavy rains predicted for Odisha in the next 48 hours. An investigation begins into the disappearance of an Egypt Air passenger jet with 66 people on board over the Mediterranean. Egypt says plane most likely brought down by terrorist act. Well, in Kerala, after routing the UDF, the left is now battling the question of who will be the next Chief Minister. The party is expected to make a final decision soon. Reports say CPIM General Secretary Sitaram Yechuri will visit Kerala and meet the State Committee on the selection of a Chief Minister. CPIM has emerged as the biggest party in the Left Democratic Front with 58 seats out of the 91 that the front has won. Two names that are in contention for the post of Chief Minister are V.S. Achuthanandan and Pinarayi Vijayan. Chief Justice P. Sadashivam. The UDF bagged 46 seats in the 140-member assembly. Chandi, though, completed his full 5-year term despite a wafer-thin majority in the previous assembly.
History repeating itself in Kerala, a state which religiously dumps the ruling party in every election. The CPM-led LDF set to form the next government in the state. In the 140-member Kerala Assembly, LDF winning over 2/3 seats to wrest power from the ruling UDF. While the LDF made a virtual sweep in the strongholds of CPI-M and CPI, Kannur, Thrissur, Alappuzha and Kollam districts, it also managed to make inroads into UDF strongholds of Ernakulam and Malappuram.
LDF has won a big victory in Kerala, and the people have reposed confidence in the LDF because they didn't want the continuation of the corrupt and anti-people rule of the Umman Chandi government.
Outgoing Chief Minister Umman Chandi took the responsibility for the UDF's defeat. The defeat proving to be the outcome of a series of corruption scandals involving some of his top aides and ministers. Although Chandi scored a victory in his hometown of Pudupalli, senior ministers like K. Babu, Shibu Baby John and K. Mohanan tasted defeats.
Vijayam ellam nettamana. Parajayam muzhuvan parajayumana. Janadhipatyathil adine nyayikaranam undavilla.
The LDF's win shifted the focus to the question of who will be the state's chief minister. Both 92-year-old V.S. Achuthanandan and party heavyweight Pinarayi Vijayan are keen to take on the mantle, putting CPM's central leadership in a tough spot. However, Achuthanandan said the party will decide the issue. While Achuthanandan won from Malambura in Palakkad district, Pinarayi Vijayan won from Dharmadam in Kannur.
Umman Chandi Azhimadi Kodiye Azhimadiyum Vilakayattum നമ്മുടെ സഹോദരിമാരോടും അമ്മമാരോടും പൊതുവിൽ സ്ത്രീകളോടും കാട്ടിക്കൂട്ടിയ നീചമായ സമീപനങ്ങൾക്കും എതിരായ ശക്തമായ ഒരു തിരിച്ചടിയാണ് കേരള ജനത നൽകിയിട്ടുള്ളത്.
Meanwhile, the BJP created history winning Nemam. Its ally, the BJDS, however, couldn't produce a single win. The voter turnout in Kerala was a tad higher at 77.35% as compared to 75.12% in the previous elections.
Going by the rotation rule in the state, voters of Kerala have given the mandate to LDF after a gap of 5 years. The UDF lost the elections with its lead party Congress faring poorly, giving a lot of food for thought to its leaders for the next 5 years. With camera person D.K. Pandey, Vishal Dahiya, Rajya Sabha TV, Thiruvananthapuram.
And multiple reactions trickled in soon after the results in Kerala after that big LDF win. Let's play out some of them for you.
That in Kerala there's been a very historic victory of the Left Democratic Front Alliance. We hail this victory and we think that this victory has been possible because the manner in which the LDF conducted its campaign amongst the people who have enthusiastically supported our positive program for the holistic development of Kerala.
Proud historical moment that the first time in the history of the Kerala, the NDA, particularly BJP, has got an entry in the Kerala Legislative Assembly.
Now the time has come to think of the future. We will be a constructive opposition. I'm very encouraged by the fact of the number of young people who have won their seats in the UDF, looking at some very bright young leaders who have a terrific future in the politics of the state, and they will be the nucleus not just of opposition, but of constructively thinking about tomorrow, because tomorrow is theirs and it will be ours again.
And in neighbouring Tamil Nadu, after her comeback to power, AIADMK Chief Jayalalitha has convened the legislature party meeting today. At the meeting, she's all set to be elected as leader of the legislature party. The election will set the stage for her to be sworn in as the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister for a record 6th time. The meeting is slated for 5 p.m. today. AIADMK has won over 130 constituencies, which include seats won by the allies too. Several of the sitting ministers, including her trusted aide and Finance Minister O. Pannirselvam, Industries Minister P. Thangamani are among the prominent winners.
Barely an hour after counting of votes started on Thursday, it became clear that Chief Minister Jayalalitha's decision to go solo had paid off.
I thank the people of Tamil Nadu for continuing to repose their faith and trust in me. And I find that there are not enough words in the dictionary to adequately express my feelings of gratitude.
The full extent of it was revealed by noon. Jayalalitha became the first Chief Minister after MGR to retain power in the state for more than one term. The third front, led by DMDK Captain Vijay Kant, could not make inroads anywhere.
It is not only the success of the Dravidian parties, it is the failure of the opponents to get themselves united and to put a united face.
The actor-turned politician who campaigned with the tag of game changer was hard-pressed to even hold his own seat. Although it was the first time that Tamil Nadu saw a six-cornered contest, the main battle in the end turned out only to be between the AIADMK and the DMK combined. The so-called formidable third front could only manage a single-figure tally.
Exit polls did predict a DMK victory. That became the curse for DMK because since all the exit poll predicted DMK is going to win, this forced the ruling government to spend more money.
The AIADMK alliance won an absolute majority in 2011, sweeping to power with 203 seats out of 234. The DMK alliance, that included the Congress and other regional parties, could only muster 31 then. This time, the DMK combined can take heart from the fact that it bagged 98 seats while keeping the AIADMK close to a simple majority figure. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And in the eastern part in West Bengal, ruling Trinamool Congress, headed by Mamata Banerjee, put up an impressive show. Not only did the party better its tally over the last elections, the party also ensured that the unprecedented left-Congress alliance experiment was not able to make any impact in the state.
Right from the word go on counting day, it was Didi all the way in West Bengal. From a tally of 184 seats in 2011, Mamata Banerjee's party leapfrogged to a whopping 200 plus constituencies.
Every forceful, the pillars, they fought against of us. But it is the magic of the people. At the end of the day, public is the masterminded people and they are the main men. Not masterminded, they are the men, they are the makers. That who will rule, who will not rule. It is the people are the first and last one.
The TMC's complete domination was evident even in seats like Karamhati, where arrested Sharda chit fund scam accused TMC MLA Madan Mitra fought the polls from behind bars.
I think it is the people. Development matters. Instead of all this debt we paid, 1,40,000 crores. What development we achieved within these 4 years, it is marvelous. It is really fabulous. And I think the people who knows the work, they know how the Bengal grows.
Significantly enough, the BJP gained leads in as many as 10 seats at stage of the counting. All the exit polls had given the Trinamool Congress a clear majority. But the alliance between the left front and Congress was hoped to make at least a dent, which however was not to be. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was among the first to congratulate Mamata on phone as a party emerged winner. In the build-up to the elections, the Trinamool was mired in allegations of corruption. But with the party winning an even bigger majority than even 2012, Mamata says her party has washed off the slur against it.
Opposition was united against Trinamool Congress, but it has been a massive win for Mamata Banerjee. With catchy slogan "Ma Mati Manush," Mamata reclaims her success. But this result is definitely a huge setback for left front. With camera person Anirban, this is Pranav Goswami, Rajya Sabha TV, Kolkata.
And in the northeast, outgoing Assam Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi will submit his resignation today following the Congress's routing from the state. The Congress was decimated in the contest for the 126 seats in the Assembly, with 26, in fact only 26 seats landing in its kitty. That is a big loss in comparison to the 68 it achieved in the outgoing Assembly. The BJP and its allies managed to back two-thirds majority in the Assembly. Sarbanand Sonowal is now all set to become the next Chief Minister of the state.
The BJP's prayers answered in Assam, the party making inroads for the first time into a northeast state. BJP candidate Sarbanand Sonowal set to become Chief Minister.
We are all sincerely grateful to the people of Assam. It is the people of Assam who have brought these particular changes and have given an opportunity to BJP and allies partners to work for the overall growth of the state and also to take up the long-standing problem of the state of Assam.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulating Sonowal, terming the win exceptional, historic and phenomenal. The BJP's decision to ally with the AGP paying dividends. The Congress, on the other hand, suffering another electoral setback with the end of the 15-year rule of Tarun Gogoi. Tarun Gogoi, who has ruled out earlier of any possibility of forming a secular third front to keep the BJP at bay, was confident he will return to power for a fourth term. After the results, Gogoi is saying his party will play the role of a constructive opposition.
It is definitely, with all humbleness, we accept the verdict of the people of Assam. People of Assam, they desire that this time administration or the government, BJP on all alliance, they should rule the states. And the people are also expecting. People wanted that lot of changes for development, better days, acha din.
Another big setback was AIUDF leader Badruddin Ajmal, who has lost by a margin of over 20,000 votes to his Congress opponent from South Salmara seat. Ajmal has blamed the Congress for a split in what he says is the secular vote.
असम में सबसे पहले कोशिश ये हुई कांग्रेस, यूडीएफ, बीपीएफ, एजीपी मिलकर एक महागठबंधन हो जाए, लेकिन इसको कांग्रेस वालों ने बिल्कुल नहीं माना और मैंने इलेक्शन में बार-बार कहा, डेली कहा कि कांग्रेस के अंदर बीजेपी आरएसएस के लोग बैठे हुए हैं और वो आरएसएस के लोग बीजेपी को जिताना चाहते हैं.
The task for the NDA, however, is cut out. The BJP has promised a crackdown on illegal migrants and sealing of the Indo-Bangladesh border. With the voters tilting towards the alliance, the victory comes wrapped in a long list of expectations.
BJP has given credit to PM Modi and Party President Amit Shah for this historic Assam win. But this is also true that this time BJP has learnt a lot from the Bihar and Delhi Assembly elections. That's why it gave more importance to local leadership in this Assam election. In Guwahati, with cameraman Unis Bhalla, this is Panchanan Mishra for Rajya Sabha TV.
And finally, to the Union Territory of Puducherry, N. Rangasamy has resigned as the Chief Minister after his AINRC was defeated in the Assembly elections. Rangasamy handed over his resignation letter to Lieutenant Governor A.K. Singh at the Rajnivas. In a consolation win for the Congress, it, along with the DMK, emerged as the winner in the elections, bagging 17 seats in the 30-member Assembly. AINRC won only 8 seats. Congress avenged its defeat in the 2011 election at the hands of AINRC founder N. Rangasamy, who broke away from the National Party to form his own outfit and then rode it to power, winning 15 seats last time. The DMK emerged successful in 2 segments, giving the combine a clear majority as it bucked initial trends of a close fight with the AINRC when counting of the votes polled in the 16th May Assembly election was taken up. The AIA-DMK, which contested the election on its own, won 4 seats. And after its dismal performance, Congress leaders Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi accepted the electoral verdict with all humility. They said they will now introspect on the electoral reverses that the party has suffered.
Disappointed by its electoral performance, Congress leaders say their party leadership will introspect on its performance. They also rejected suggestions that the party Vice President Rahul Gandhi should accept the blame for its debacle in 4 states.
हर प्रांतीय चुनाव में और हर चुनाव में अपने अपने मुद्दे होते हैं। भारतीय राष्ट्रीय कांग्रेस प्रांतों के चुनाव को कभी भी व्यक्ति विशेष, अगर आप कल को इसे अकेले गोगई साहब या अकेले चांडी साहब से जोड़कर भी देखें, तो इस प्रकार से हम नहीं देखते।
Congress leaders reminded that the party had been in power in Assam for 15 years and had provided capable leadership for the last 5 years in Kerala.
हम ये अवश्य विश्लेषण करेंगे कि प्रांत में कहां हमसे वो कमियां रही जिनकी भरपाई और दुरुस्ती की आवश्यकता थी। क्या वो कारण थे जिनको अगर भारतीय राष्ट्रीय कांग्रेस बेहतर तरीके से एड्रेस करती तो जनता के समक्ष अपनी बात और ज्यादा पुरजोर तरीके से पहुंचा पाती।
Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi tweeted that the party accepts the verdict of the people with humility. He also extended his best wishes to the parties that won the elections.
From the Indian National Congress, we would like to congratulate those parties and alliances which are moving towards victory. And we hope that the promises which they have made to the people, they will be in a position to fulfill those promises.
Criticizing the BJP's campaign of Congress Mukt Bharat, party leaders said the Congress is linked to the soul of India and no organization or individual would be able to wipe it out.
कांग्रेस एक राजनीतिक दल तो है ही, पर भारतीय जनता पार्टी ना भूले कि कांग्रेस एक विचारधारा भी है, कांग्रेस एक सोच भी है, कांग्रेस एक रास्ता भी है, जो शायद राजनीतिक दल से ऊपर उठकर इस देश की आत्मा के अंदर बसा है।
Asked the reasons for the poor performance of the Congress in Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Puducherry, leaders said it was not possible to immediately identify causes for the losses in these states. Anu Diwan's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And moving on to some other news, the Interpol has issued a red corner notice against Pakistan-based handler of Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorist Shahid Latif in connection with the Pathankot attack. Another request for a red corner notice has been issued against Kashif Jan. The two are alleged to be the handlers of the Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists who had infiltrated into India in January this year. The requests were made by the NIA, which is probing the Pathankot airbase attack. The The Interpol had earlier this week issued a red corner notice against Jaish-e-Mohammed chief, Maulana Masood Azhar, and his brother Abdul Rauf in connection with the Pathankot attack. Meanwhile, the Indian Army has rejected Pakistan's allegation of an insider's role in the terrorist attack on the Pathankot air base and said it was planned and sponsored from across the border. The NIA also ruled out the role of an insider. Remember, 7 security personnel besides 4 terrorists were killed in the attack carried out allegedly by Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists inside the Pathankot air base earlier this year. And the Indian Meteorological Department has predicted heavy rains in Andhra Pradesh and eastern Odisha in the next 12 hours. The cyclonic storm has been formed in Andhra Pradesh in view of deep depression over the Bay of Bengal and will now move towards Odisha. The coastal cities of Odisha are likely to receive heavy rainfall in the next 12 to 48 hours. The wind speed in Odisha coast is likely to remain within 100 kilometers per hour. Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik held a review meeting with IMD director and other senior officials to discuss the measures that need to be taken up. For now, 10 teams of Odisha Disaster Rapid Action Force and fire service personnel have been asked to be ready for operation. Odisha's fishermen have been warned from venturing out into the sea in view of the extreme weather. Meanwhile, coastal regions of Andhra Pradesh have been experiencing heavy rainfall. Authorities in coastal Andhra Pradesh are on alert as rains continue to lash the state under the impact of cyclonic storm Roanu over the Bay of Bengal.
Cyclonic storm Roanu has moved to 15 km per hour in last 6 hours in the direction of north-northeastward, and it is likely to move north-northeastwards next 12 hours along Andhra Pradesh coast, and tonight it may be further intensified into severe cyclonic storm.
And on to the big international news today. A massive search is underway for the wreckage of an Egypt airplane that plunged into the Mediterranean with 66 people on board in what the Egyptian authorities said may have been an act of terrorism. The Airbus A320 from Paris to Cairo went missing over the eastern Mediterranean soon after entering the Egyptian airspace. These were the scenes at the check-in desk at the Charles de Gaulle airport as the news emerged this morning. The Egypt Air flight took off from here early Thursday. The airline said there were 66 passengers, including 3 children, as well as 10 crew members on board flight MS-804. The Airbus A320 was travelling from Paris to Cairo. It disappeared from the radar about 10 miles after entering the Egyptian airspace above the Mediterranean Sea. At a press conference in Cairo, Egyptian Civil Aviation Minister Sherif Fathi said there had been no known security issues with either the aircraft or any of the passengers, but further checks were needed.
كونتاكت حصل ما بين الطيارة وما بين برج المراقبة كان الساعة حوالي 2:30 صباحا، وبعد كده الطيارة فقدت على الرادارات. في حوالي الساعة 52 دقيقة حصل شوية محاولات لمعاودة الاتصال بيها، بس 52 دقيقة تأكد إن احنا مش قادرين نتصل بالطائرة.
Fadi stressed it was too early to rule out either terrorism or technical failure, but added it was likely the plane was brought down by a terrorist attack.
The situation may point, and I say may because I don't want to go to speculations and I don't want to go to assumptions like others, but if you analyze the situation properly, the possibility of having a different action or having a terror attack is higher than the possibility of having a technical.
Both Egypt and Greece dispatched aircraft and naval vessels on a major search mission. They were expected to be joined by French teams, while the US will send a surveillance plane to help with the operation. The search operation is focused on an area near the Greek island of Karapathos.
U.S. national security and aviation experts have been in touch with their counterparts in France and Egypt to offer assistance. Many of you all have probably also seen the announcement from the Department of Defense that the United States Navy is working to deploy a P-3 Orion aircraft to provide support for the search of the missing jetliner.
NATO's Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg also offered condolences, saying the alliance was on standby and ready if requested to assist in the search operation.
I know that there are national search and rescue efforts ongoing, and that France and Egypt have agreed to cooperate and to work closer together investigating what happened.
The tragedy raised fears of a repeat of the bombing of a Russian passenger jet by the Islamic State jihadist group over Egypt last October that killed all 224 people on board. Ultra-hardline Islamists have targeted airports, airliners and tourist sites in Europe, Egypt, Tunisia and other Middle Eastern countries over the past few years. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And now to all the sporting action in Sports Beat. Five-time champion MC Mericom and former Asian gold medalist El Sarita Devi began their campaigns on a resounding note with comfortable victories in their opening bouts of the IBA World Women's Boxing Championships on Thursday. While Mericom outpunched Sweden's Juliana Soderstrom 3-0, Sarita got the better of Belarus's Alla Yarshovich by a similar scoreline with a thoroughly dominating performance. Roger Federer withdrew from the French Open on Thursday after failing to recover from a back injury, bringing to an end the 17-time major winner's run of 65 consecutive Grand Slams. The world number 3, who has been plagued by knee and back injuries this year, last missed a Grand Slam event in 1999 when he skipped the US Open. England's national soccer team trained together on Thursday as the provisional 26-man squad named to play the European Championship finals in France this summer. Roy Hodgson's men have warm-up matches against Turkey, Australia and Portugal before they kick off their Euro 2016 campaign against Russia in Marseille on the 11th of June. Leicester City manager Claudio Ranieri said that the newly crowned English Premier League champions were looking to bring in new players but no superstars. After winning the title for the first time in the club's 132-year history, the team and their Thai owners showed off the trophy to cheering fans on stage at an event in Bangkok, during which Ranieri said he was looking for players to reinforce his team. Usain Bolt on Thursday said he was fit to run at the Czech Golden Spike event on Friday. The event in the eastern Czech city of Ostrava will be Jamaican sprint star's second race this season in the run-up to the Rio Olympics in August. Bolt, who owns the 100 meters world record at 9.58 seconds and the world 200 meters record of 19.19, clocked a modest 10.05 seconds on the 100-meter track in his season debut at the Cayman Invitational meet last week. And that's all we have time for in this bulletin. Thanks for watching.